Today we're going to be looking at the QT130 underwater light. This light has actually been the bedrock of the underwater light family since 1991, which was 26 years ago. This was the very first light ever designed and installed on a boat by Peter Urquhart. So we're going to take a quick look at what comes in the box. Once you open your QT130, you're going to have two different boxes. The first is going to be the light, and the second is going to be the driver box. A little heavy. So we're going to start. We're actually going to start with the light. Okay. So within the light, we obviously have some packing materials, and then the light itself. Now the light we have for you today is actually called the QT130 HP3 White. Now it is a white LED. And outputs 20,000 lumens of power. That makes this one of the brightest underwater lights, not just on the market, but ever made for a boat. This light has been on pretty much every super yacht that is GRP or fiberglass, anywhere from 90 to 300 feet. This is the actual light itself. So as you can see, the cutout for this light is around 4 inches. Now that seems a lot, but that actually is quite the standard in the underwater light field for lights of this size and power, and on the size of boats going on, like I said, it is very standard. It is a fully exchangeable light from inside the boat. Once that back nut unscrews, the light projector then can come out completely. The great thing about the QT130 compared to our competitors is that once it comes out, the light insert comes out in 2 parts. So the insert is around 4.5 inches. So behind the fixture, you only need 4.5 inches extra to get it out. But because it's in 2 parts, it's actually in 2-inch parts. So behind the fixture, so from inside the hull, say the hull is like 1 inch thick or 1/2 inch thick, you're only going to need about, what's that? That's 5.5 inches total, add another 2. So behind the fixture, you're only going to need 7 to 8 inches space inside to remove the insert. This is compared to some of our competitors who require 17 or 18 inches behind the fixture, which, as I can show you if I move this box, is a hell of a lot less room. We can do it in that space. So this makes this light very versatile. It can be used in much more applications and spaces than our competitors, which means because you can put it in more spaces, because it's a tighter fit, you can have much more homogeneous light around the boat. Combine that with the fact it's 20,000 lumens, and you have a very, very attractive light. The light unit itself, again, aluminium bronze on the front, and an aluminum body which has been hard anodized, and then the bonding screw once again is on the side here. So once you screw this down and it bites into the metal, it creates a perfect path for current to flow through, and once connected to the cathodic bonding system, it makes it perfect in terms of bonding to prevent corrosion. There is a little secret we use. A lot of people come to me and then we talk about corrosion. Corrosion is it's a very specific field that people go into, and when done correctly, it's fantastic. When done badly, it can be disastrous. So a lot of people ask me, how can you use an aluminum bronze front and a aluminum housing? Once you screw them together, I mean, it's all about potential. The electrolytes of all the salt water's on the front, and you're connecting the lead for the bonding on the back. You know, these two metals aren't perfectly matched. How do you make sure just screwing it together you're going to have good connection? So the secret to that is under here. There is a screw that's driven through, which then fully bonds the metals together and creates the perfect path of least resistance. So if you really want to know that. So once the 4-inch hole, or 104 or 101 millimeters, is drilled, make sure you take care of that coring, or if it's solid, you can go straight ahead and put your 42 or 5200 sealant on the inside flange, pass that into the hole, screw this right the way down until it meets the inside of the boat, and then tighten these down as hand tight. They want to go just once past hand tight, and then you'll see all the material, the sealant, squeeze out from the front of the housing. Once that's wiped off, the light is sealed and you're ready to go. For the future of the light, everything's service will be done from inside the boat. It comes with a standard 6 foot of cable, and then comes with this very robust Deutsch connector, which then plugs into the driver system. So we're going to move the light to one side and have now a quick look at the second part of the light, which is the driver. So in the second box here, you'll have the driver unit. And this is actually another thing that has not changed in 26 years. The boxes we use are a very high grade aluminum which has been powder coated. These last a long time. We haven't changed the design of these because we've not needed to. So on the light itself, here's where the light will connect in, and it's very simple. Again, you push the connector in, you twist until it goes in, and then just tighten the collar down until it clicks like that. So the light is now connected to the driver. You have two inputs here, one input and one is an output. That basically has the 110 or 240 volts coming into the driver. I will show you where it terminates on the inside, and then the power coming out on the other side. Once those are tightened down and secure, the driver is now fully waterproof, or IP68. A great feature of these screws, which I've actually neglected to mention in previous videos, is when you're working in very tight spaces on a boat, screws can either be your best friend or your worst nightmare. So we've actually overcome that by making sure that when you take your lid off and the screws are off, they're not falling out. So they're actually in there. There's a secondary screw in here. So if you want to take that out, you unscrew it all the way. But I'm telling you now, as all installers will know, losing screws in a build, you're never going to get them back, is a real pain. So we've taken care of that for you on this and also the QT100. So on the inside of the driver, it's very simple. You have power in, power out here. So you bring your power feed in, and if you want to go to the next driver along, you put your power out here, out of this one and straight onto the next one. One thing I need to make you aware of, and just as we were talking about the screws, you can see that these screws are isolated from the waterproofness of this box, the IP68. We want to protect this and not the screws. So the gasket runs on the inside here, which then mates with the ledge in here. So once this is pushed into place, like that, and screwed down, the gasket's engaged, the inside is sealed. Now why I mention that is because the mounting holes for this box are also next to the lid sealing point. It is completely separate and isolated from the inside ledge of here. So don't use anything else to secure the box. If you want to make a bracket for this to go on, make sure you use these points, not these, make sure you use the inside ones to screw the box into place. Once that's mounted and wired in, you can then go ahead and put your lid back on and screw it down, and now the light is ready to go. The QT130 also comes in a RGBW or full color change configuration. That requires a similar size but slightly larger box, and you will have an extra 2 cable glands on here for the DMX in and out. So if you have the color change, you'll install it in exactly the same way for the light. Almost identical for the driver, except to be a little bigger. You'll pull your 110 or 240 volt AC into the box, but as an extra step, you will have a controller, a DMX controller, then has a wire, a Cat 5, Cat 6 or a 3-core conductor cable. We recommend a Cat 5, but make sure it's twisted Cat 5 and not solid, because those are kind of brittle and can break. So that Cat 5 will come into that cable gland, terminate in the DMX, and then go out the other side DMX to the next box. So basically it would follow the same pattern as the power for these lights. We're going to have a quick look now at the website. We're actually on the QT130 page right here on the underwaterlights.com. You can see the whole material on here, for instance. The boat size we recommend for this, because it's a 20,000 lumen light, this light can go on boats up to 300 feet or above if they're made out of fiberglass or GRP. So there is no right or wrong answer for what kind of boat this can go on. It's how big's your budget, how bright do you want the lights to be. I've seen these lights put on a 40-foot boat, which was, in my opinion, a little over the top, but looked amazing. And then, like I said, they've gone on boats up to 300 feet as well. Installation beam angles are 90 degrees. This is a completely flush unit. One thing I did want to mention that I didn't, on all our previous lights we had the dome lens, the convex lens, and that projected the beam angle. On this we still have the convex lens inside, but it's protected then by a flat lens. So this is a completely flush installation, as the others are, but it's much more, this is much more typical to what people will see. And the reason we've kept that the same is that we've had such great success with this housing. Once you start making the lens that much bigger to fit this kind of aperture, we felt that we wanted to keep that flat lens in place because it's what we've done for 26 years and had great success. Obviously you can see down here on the technical, you can see on the technical 20,000 lumens of power. And all the specs are here. We come in white, blue and color change. If you have any further technical questions, you please go to our website at www.underwaterlights.com, or feel free to give us a call here in the studio, 954-604-4024, or send me an email at Zack, Z-A-C-K, at underwaterlights.com.